versus purity, who will win in the long run? What are our world leaders doing today? One was causing riots because he was losing power. The other is causing a war because he wants more power. And they're all in their 70s. Do they think they're going to take all this wealth and power with them when they die? Where the hell do you think you're sitting right now? We're all sitting in Mrityu Loka, the kingdom of disease and death. Nothing will go with us at the time of death. Our Upanishads talk of Brahma Loka, higher lokas, where there's no disease, no death, eternal life. But just as if I want to go to America to study, I will need a lot of money. Similarly, if you want to earn your promotion from Mrityu Loka to Brahma Loka, you have to lead a very simple and selfless life. God tests us in Mrityu Loka. But who is living simply and selflessly nowadays? Such few people. Everyone is just chasing more power, more money at any cost. I must get ahead. Doesn't matter, I have to cut my neighbor's head. I must get ahead. What do we see all around us nowadays? Just cutthroat competition. Who is living in a spirit of cosmic love and cooperation? Very, very few people. If three principles from the Bhagavad Gita were taught to all our children right from a young age, we could fight all this crime, corruption, wars, etc., that we see on the planet today. What does the Gita say? The Gita says, you are not this perishable body subject to old age, disease, decay, and death. You are a divine, eternal soul, one and all. So if we are one and all, should we not be living in a spirit of cosmic love? Secondly, the Gita talks of the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. Why is a child born on the streets begging and another child born healthy and wealthy? It's the law of karma. In Hinduism, we believe in reincarnation, which has been proved by Dr. Brian Weiss, an American psychiatrist based in Florida. His book, Many Lives, Many Masters, proves the reincarnation principle. My Guruji, Yogi Protoplasm, who was a disciple of Ramana Maharshi, used to tell us this famous story. There was once a multi-millionaire who lived in a very big mansion, and he had a lot of gold. So he didn't even trust his son. He hid the gold under his bed. Suddenly he died one day. He was reborn as a leper in a poor slum, and he started begging. He comes across a palatial house from his past birth, and he remembers, this was my house in my past birth. So he tries to enter that house. The son from the previous birth gets him beaten up. Buddha Bhagwan is passing by, and he intervenes. He tells the leper boy, please take us to the gold which you hid in your past life. And the leper boy takes everyone to the bed, and the digging is done, and sure enough, the gold is found. So everyone was aghast. Why was this multi-millionaire demoted and became a poor leper in his next life? Buddha Bhagwan explained that millionaire cheated so many people, exploited so many people, and he had to bear the law of karma. No one can escape the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. But because this simple fact is not understood, look at the crime, the corruption, the wars, etc., that we see on the planet today. We have enough nuclear weapons to finish planet Earth 10 times over. But we don't have world leaders who have a lot of maturity and a spiritual sense. We can fight all the poverty and the illiteracy, etc. we see with the money, but we have enough money for bombs and the arms race, but we don't have money to fight the poverty and the illiteracy that we see around us. Kids must be taught this from a young age. Secularism means that values from all religions must be taught, and kids must learn to respect the differences. Kids must be taught that values are more valuable than violence. Mahatma Gandhi was a great spiritual leader. He had 5 kids. He was a rich lawyer. He could have spent his whole life pampering those 5 kids. But he saw the poverty in India. He lived so simply. He fought against the British, but with compassion, not with hatred. He was truly a spiritual giant. Why can't we learn from Gandhi? Why have we forgotten Gandhi? He conquered the world, but with cosmic love. Why can't our world leaders learn from Gandhi? We must remember Gandhi. In fact, our ancient rishis in India would also talk of Garbha Sanskar, that values should start being putting in kids right from the womb stage. When a woman is pregnant and if she does a lot of chanting, meditation, listens to spiritual discourses, she can produce a pure divine child. Garbha Sanskar has been proved by Dr. Emoto, who was a Japanese scientist. He did research on water. He took 2 jars of water. One jar he abused for many hours. One jar he gave mantras and positive affirmations for many hours. Then he froze the water. The one which was abused produced deformed crystals, and the one which was given mantras and prayers and positive affirmations produced beautiful diamond-shaped crystals. Now the fetus is 90% water. So you can produce a divine child if pregnant women start doing a lot of sadhana in their womb stage. But what do pregnant women do mostly nowadays? They sit in front of watch silly TV serials or go for kitty parties. Please use your time well. Nobody has more than 100 years to live, and if you use your time well in sadhana and seva and living simply and selflessly, you can get out of this cycle of birth and death. We as a society are trained in money and marriage. We're not being trained in moksha. And how do we get out of this cycle of birth, old age, disease, death? Gita gives you tips from that. Please study the Bhagavad Gita. Teach your children the Gita and teach your children to learn in oneness. What do we see nowadays mostly around us? Commercial devotion. People are religious, they're not spiritual. They go to temples or religious places and they beg for this favor or that favor from God. But spirituality actually means living simply and selflessly and in oneness. So please learn to live in oneness, and please teach your children also that values are more important than valuables. The law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. Buddha Bhagwan used to relate this story. There was one millionaire who lived in a very big palatial house, but he was a very big miser and had cheated many, many people. He buried some of his gold in one corner of the house. He did not even tell his son where he had hidden this gold. One day the miser suddenly died. The son searched everywhere for the gold but could not find it. After some time, an ugly leper boy was born in a poor slum. The leper boy started begging. One day the boy by chance came in front of the same palatial house in which he was a rich person in his previous life. By God's grace, he recollected his past life and went inside the big house and started telling his son that the house belonged to him.
Beat this boy. Throw him out.
Buddha Bhagwan happened to be passing by and intervened.
Stop. Do you remember where you have hidden gold in your past life?
Yes, I will show you. Here, it's under the bed.
So it is proved that the slum boy was indeed a millionaire in his past life. But why was he so poor and wretched in this next birth? Because he had been very selfish, cruel and mean. He had been demoted in his next birth. No one can escape the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. If everyone understood that by harming somebody else, he's only harming himself because one soul pervades the entire universe, no one would harm another, and all crime and corruption would stop on this planet. But because people are ignorant of the law of karma, their reincarnation theory and self-knowledge, crime and corruption flourish on this planet. Why is one baby born crippled and poor, while another healthy and wealthy? Through past life regression therapy made popular by American Dr. Brian Weiss, we can explore the law of karma and reincarnation theory. Example: Maya was suffering from depression. She had given birth to 3 sons, but unfortunately they died soon after. She slipped into depression and was near suicidal. She was taken to a past life regressionist to cure her depression. She was regressed and taken back to a past life. Sure enough, it was found that she had been a gynecologist in her past birth and had committed many female feticides for money. Law of karma was catching up with her in this life. No one can escape the law of karma. Please close your eyes. We will do 2 more visualizations. 1. Bless those who hurt you. Visualize someone who has hurt you and send this person vibrations of forgiveness and love, and pray for this person. Oh God, please give me strength not to judge and criticize people, but help me to be able to bless, heal, and awaken their dormant divinity. You only have come in the form of this person to test me and exhaust my past life karma. Help me to see you in all, love you in all, and serve you in all. This exercise is very powerful and helps to heal relationships, dissolve anger and hatred, and develops compassion. Negative toxic emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy, etc. only cause unease and lead to dis-ease. 2nd, death visualization. Imagine your dead body lying on the floor. Everyone around you is crying. Then 4 people come and take your dead body to the funeral pyre. Your body is then burnt and slowly turns to ash. Your body, which you had decorated with fancy clothes, fancy jewelry, fancy makeup, etc., is slowly turning to ash. Nothing is going with you at the time of death. Your family, your money, your property, your status, nothing. Then why do we become so greedy and so selfish? Most of the crime and corruption on the planet is due to greed and selfishness. Death visualization gives detachment and inspires one to lead a more simple and selfless life. Dr. Emoto, a Japanese scientist, performed a series of experiments observing the effect of mantras, words, prayers, music, and environment on the crystalline structure of water. He filled 2 jars with water. Jar A was subjected to several hours of insulting and abusive language, while Jar B was exposed to positive vibrations through chanting and prayer. The jars were then frozen. After freezing, it was found that the crystals in Jar A were ugly and deformed, while the crystals in Jar B were like beautifully shaped diamonds. If this is the effect on water, imagine the effect of positive vibrations on the human body, since it is 60% made of water. And imagine the effect on a fetus, which is 90% water. That is why our yogis promote Garab Sanskar. That is, if a pregnant woman does a lot of chanting and meditation, she can put spiritual impressions in her child right from the womb stage. So we find modern scientists corroborating truths what our ancient yogis stated. In fact, our rishis also spoke of Garbhadhan. That is, if a couple want to attract a spiritual soul in their womb, they should chant, pray and meditate first and then try for a baby. Garbhadhan and Garbhasanskar should be taught to all would-be parents so that they can raise kids who are simple, selfless and spiritual and not greedy and corrupt as we see in society today.